in the interest of KJ, for a status hearing. Is the father Reginald Jones present? Reginald Jones. Reginald Jones, Reginald Jones. If you're on the phone.
Hello.
Okay, I see your name actually. All right, thank you. Thank you, sir. Are you able to connect to video?
I broke my it works, but it's like you probably won't even be able to see, but I can get on my other phone if you can, like, maybe, because I'm at work also.
Okay, no, I don't. You're fine. You're fine. Let's just try to work with this, okay? Because
Yes,
I don't want to somehow, lose you get disconnected.
Right.
And
Yes,
so the mother, you all help me out with her last name again, please. I thought I had written a pronunciation guide.
Postaway.
Say that again, please.
Postaway.
Yeah.
All right. So I probably said this before, just the way it looks. Okay. So Lacey Postaway.
Yes, sir. I'm present as well.
Okay. You all are on the same device?
Yes, sir. That is correct.
Okay. Thank you very much. All right. Let me get the two of you, mom and dad, and everyone else who may testify. If you'll raise your right hands, we're here for status here. We'll get you sworn in. Do you all swear the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes?
Yes.
Yes. All right. Thank you. And with that, Ms. Walker, you may call your first.
Thank you. And I call Ms. Spiller.
All right.
How you doing?
Would you go ahead and state your name, please?
Leandria Spiller.
Okay. And are you the caseworker for the child in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Where's the child currently placed?
He is placed with his paternal aunt, Erica Nicholas, in Houston.
And how's he doing in that placement?
He's doing good. The times I've been over there, he's interacted with his family members, laughing, playing with his toys.
Okay. And how old is he?
He's 3.
Are there or is there anything that the placement needs or the child needs that the court should address today?
No, ma'am, not of right now.
Is the child seeing any doctors or other healthcare providers?
He is up to date on his medical, dental, and CANS assessment. I've requested a courtesy worker for his speech therapy, so that is pending.
Okay. Now, were there service plans that were created and filed in this case?
They were filed, yes, ma'am, this morning.
Okay. Were you able to, first of all, starting with the mother, review her service plan with her?
We did talk about it on the FGC, but after that, we kind of did a brief overview, but I haven't been able to go into detail with her as of yet.
Okay. Do you believe she understands what's going to be required of her to complete in regards to that service plan in order to have her child returned to her?
Objection, speculation. She just testified that she hasn't been able to completely go over it with her. She's only given a brief overview, so it would be speculation as if the mother would understand it.
Sustain.
All right. You said that service plan has been filed with the court.
Yes, ma'am. And the department did add another service that we wanted to bring up to y'all. However, we do understand if we're unable to add that service today.
Okay. And when you say, so has the mother been made aware of what you're wanting to add to the service plan?
No, ma'am.
Okay. What is the department, what are you asking be added to the service plan?
We are wanting to add BIP and a BIP assessment to address some concerns that were brought up.
Okay. And when you say a BIP assessment, as an aggressor or as a victim, can you explain?
Victim. Yes, ma'am, as a victim.
Okay. And when or where were these concerns brought up?
They have been brought up by collaterals as well as DFPS staff.
Okay. And, well, let me just ask, as far as DFPS staff, did something occur in the presence of DFPS staff?
No, ma'am, just based off of how she's appearance.
Okay. And when you say appearance, were there any injuries observed or?
A swollen face, wearing heavy clothing when it was very hot outside, kind of more reserved than previously seen, kind of sheltered and ducked down.
Okay. Let me have a time frame and whether or not you personally observed this.
It was me personally, and it was last week.
I don't understand that.
Mr. Jones, I need you all to remain muted, okay? You may continue.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Are you asking that the mother's service plan be made an order of the court?
Yes, ma'am.
And was there a service plan that was created for the father?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you have an opportunity to review his service plan with him?
Not verbatim, no, ma'am.
Does the father's plan mirror the mother's plan?
The difference between more so everything except for we're asking if he can work towards a valid driver's license.
Okay. Are you or was BIP included in his service plan?
We did not add that, no, ma'am.
Okay. What are the tasks that you're asking? I know you said you're asking the mother to participate in BIP, but what other tasks are you asking her to complete in the service plan?
Yes, ma'am. Sorry. Transportation plan, obtain and maintain legal employment, obtain and maintain stable housing, maintain weekly contact with the department, and inform the department within 48 hours of any lifestyle changes, sign a release of information, participate in a psychosocial evaluation and follow all recommendations, participate in the ADEC assessment and follow recommendations, participate in parenting classes, abide by the general rules of the department, random drug screens, and also research the effects of methamphetamine use on children.
Okay. And you said the father's plan mirrors that except for obtaining the driver's license, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What is the, well, let me back up a second. Are you asking the court to make, first of all, his plan has been filed with the court?
Yes, ma'am, this morning as well.
Are you also asking that his plan be made an order of the court?
Yes, ma'am.
What is the permanency goal for the child?
Family reunification with the concurrent goal of relative fixed of kin relative adoption, sorry.
Okay. And at this time, do you feel it's in the child's best interest to remain in his current placement?
Yes, ma'am.
Also, do you feel it's in his best interest that the department remain the temporary managing conservator?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you feel that there would be a continuing danger to the health and safety of the child and contrary to his welfare if he were returned to a parent or his parents today?
Yes, ma'am.
Currently, where are the parents living?
I believe they are living with Miss Jones. However, it was reported to me today that they haven't been living in that home for a couple of days.
Okay, when you say Miss Jones, is that a relative?
Yes, ma'am. Miss Stephanie Jones.
Okay, and how is she related to the child?
She is Carter's paternal grandmother.
Okay, and you said up until a couple of days ago, you believe the parents were living there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'll pass the witness, Shauna.
All right, thank you, Ms. Leal Hudson.
It's just, but before we start, I'd like to see if Mr. Jones can turn his camera on.
Well, we'll give it a try. I don't know if you heard his announcement earlier. And I don't know if Ms. Osselwaite has a way of maybe getting on another device and turning a video on. So Mr. Jones, if you'll take a moment, see if we can, I know you said your screen was broken or something like that. See if you can connect to video for us, and we'll see what happens.
Okay, 1 second. My phone's all cracked up. I'm sorry. Hold on. I can try. Like I said, I can call y'all. I can get on my work's phone and do it from.
Okay,
Okay, let me start. I can see. Oh, okay.
Okay,
Start my video.
let's try it on this. Yeah.
It says it started. Yeah, my screen's all busted up. I can get right on my work phone if y'all can wait like a minute, maybe not even a minute.
Does your client have a device or a cell phone, Ms. Leal Hudson? Do you know?
I don't believe so. So I will tell you, in the past, to communicate with her, I would have to call somebody. They would go to her job. They would tell her that I was on the phone, and she would call me from her job. And the last time we were in court, they appeared together on the same device. But every training I have ever had with concerns that were just brought up, this is not how you express it, and we could be putting the potential victim in danger. So now I'm concerned that I can't see my client.
Well, I'm giving him a moment to try to obtain his, I think he called it his work phone, and see if he can connect to video on it.
All right, I got it.
Thank you.
How you doing?
Okay, let me get you to take your, I know you're probably outside, it's cold, but we're in.
Yeah.
So if you'll take your, there you go. All right.
And is Miss Postal White with you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Let me
ma'am,
see
I'm
her.
right here.
Okay. All right, thank you. I want you to be able to hear these questions.
Yes,
All
ma'am.
right. Miss Spiller, have you sent me, the attorney, Miss Postal White, that family service plan?
No, I have not sent y'all anything.
No.
Oh,
Miss Postal White, I'm not asking you. I'm only asking the caseworker right now. It's not your turn, okay?
oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Miss Spiller, have you sent me the family service plan?
I filed it this morning, but I have not personally sent it to you, no, ma'am.
Okay, and if I told you that while you may have filed it this morning, it still hasn't appeared in my inbox, do you see it in your inbox from your filings?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and what time did you file that this morning?
8:55.
Okay. And are you sure that I was served on your e-file? Can you look at that?
Because I don't have access, I had my coworker to e-file it for me.
You were not, Rachel.
You have it, Miss Holler?
Yes, I do have it, but I believe they have mom's attorney is Amy Bythewood. You have not been changed.
Okay.
And I got it at 8:55 this morning.
So you would agree with me that earlier you stated that you've only gone over it a little bit with the mom, but not in the depth that you needed to, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
You don't have signatures on the family plan of service, correct?
Correct.
You did not, and this was a mistake, but Miss Blythewood's not her attorney. I'm her attorney, and I did not receive it. And when it was e-filed, I was not included on that, right? And you just heard that information, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And then in addition to that, the family plan of service that you're requesting, you're putting on additional requests that you've not talked to myself or Miss Postal White about, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Also, y'all have concerns that she is the potential victim of abuse, but you're making the victim go through extra services and not addressing it with the potential abuser.
Who's
Yes,
the
ma'am.
Mr. Jones, don't interrupt.
Just
Just keep it on mute, Mr. Jones.
Surely, with considering that we've not had an opportunity to go over this and it's not been presented to our council and you're adding things and you've not had an in-depth conversation, it's not the agency's position that this is the right family plan of service with the mother. And you're certainly not asking the court to make this an order of the court. Would you agree?
Can you rephrase it for me?
Okay. With all of those things, right, that I just gone through using, with your testimony, at this time, would you agree with me? What you filed is not the correct and appropriate family plan of service for Miss Postal White at this time?
At this time.
We need to address some things, correct?
Yes, ma'am, we need to address it.
Ms.
Okay,
Leal Hudson, Ms. Leal Hudson, are you requesting a reset, a continue?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, that's going to be granted. Stand by. And at this point, you all may need to have another PC or FGC.
Yes, Judge.
I'm not ordering that, and I don't know who all was in attendance when it was had, but I'm sure it was before last week when these things became the department began to have these concerns. Stand by, please. So really, is it, correct me if I'm wrong, Ms. Hollier, but it's only the mother's family plan of service that is at issue?
That was my understanding from Ms. Fuller's testimony.
All right. And have you had ample time to go over it with your client, Ms. Hollier?
No, I sent an email to Ms. Cleaver. I had my office do that this morning requesting it because I didn't get it.
Okay.
And I think that's what prompted the filing at 8:55.
So gone are the days when everybody leaves with FGC, with the family plan in their hands, hard copies
Yes.
from the FGC. Okay, and I don't even know if the FGC was in person, but so could I mean, it's pretty clear what the department wants to add and why. The parents and the department and their attorney need to, or at least the mother needs to conference with the department and her attorney further. For whatever reason, the department does not want to change the fathers. So I could take up the father's family plan of service today if it's set in stone as far as the department's concerned. But I understand, Ms. Hollier, you still need to go over it with him. So let me pause there. Ask Ms. Walker, are you available tomorrow afternoon?
As far as let's see, Yes, I should be available tomorrow afternoon. Yes, Shauna.
Yes, Your Honor.
So for the Jones status. Okay. All right. Now, mom and dad, I want you to meet with your attorneys between now and then. Go over your respective family plans of service. Be prepared to appear by video tomorrow. But importantly, there's going to be a new login number for Zoom. Okay, so today's is not going to work anymore. I've not generated it yet, so it does not exist yet. I will do that as I can, and hopefully in a few minutes. So you'll need to get that from your caseworker and or your attorney. Okay.
Yes, sir. I'll make sure. Well, I mean, I got a couple other phones. It's just she don't. I mean, we have a bond, like we're comfortable with each other using the same phone. So I mean, like, but if
I think that's a very important thing. Probably one of the first or second things you want to talk to your attorneys about. Appearing tomorrow on one devices, but make sure we can see you tomorrow, like today. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. So with that, we're continued. Is the status hearing until 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon via Zoom, January the 26th. Okay. So you all are excused.
Tomorrow.
All right. Thank you all very much. It's good to see you this afternoon. I believe we have one matter on our docket, and that is the continuation of the Jones status hearing. Are we ready? I don't see the parents. Is the department ready, Ms. Walker?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you. And Ms. Leal Hudson and Ms. Hollier, are you all ready?
No, Judge, my client isn't present. I do anticipate her joining. I did not receive the Zoom information, and Ms. McPherson sent it to me, and then Ms. Sago just did. So I have emailed it to my client, but I just gotten off the phone with her. And so I'm expecting her to join any second now.
All right.
And I did send the login to my client, and he said he would be here, so I'm surprised he's not.
Okay. All right. So we'll give the mother a few more moments.
Tried to call.
I did receive the amended one from Ms. Spiller yesterday
All right.
for my client.
And so your client's has been subsequently amended?
Yes, it has been.
Okay. Any update, Ms. Leal Hudson?
There was no answer the second time I called, and I've also emailed her, and I emailed her the updated Zoom information when I got it. And I hung up the phone with her at 2:56.
Okay. Well, I'm going to give her about another 4 minutes. And so we'll begin the hearing at 3:15 regardless.
Can I ask you a question about something that you said yesterday?
Absolutely, Ms. Sego. Yes.
On the Whitmire, the
What's-it?
no, 26153.
Oh, that one.
Yes. We were talking about the father of the oldest child, about alternative service. You mentioned something about alternative service on the father, because that was the one that
Yes, ma'am.
Still wanted to do mediation. But you said something about appointing an attorney. Did you want to appoint an attorney as of now, or did you want to wait?
Well, I'll need to wait till that alternate service is perfected.
Okay.
And then once that's done, so it's really going to be incumbent upon somebody to let me know as soon as that happens. And that way I'll appoint based on that.
Okay, do you have a preference of posting or publication?
I don't, but I think, and there were two cases where this was at issue, but I think in that hearing, what was mentioned, and I kind of tacitly approved of it, was publication.
Okay, I just wanted to confirm that with you. Thank you.
Ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. All right, it's 3:15, and I am admitting Reginald Jones' device into the courtroom just now. All right, calling cause number 26148 in the interest of KJ for status hearing. Let me inquire as to the mother's presence. Lacey Postlethwaite. Is she present? What about Reginald Jones? I believe I see his name. Mr. Jones, is that you? If you can unmute and connect to video.
I'm present. I'm sorry about that.
All right, and what about Mr. Jones?
Yes, sir.
Is he present? Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you very much. I have both of you marked present. So, all right, and have both of you had opportunities to speak with your attorneys after the hearing yesterday?
I spoke with mine today, and she spoke with hers today. Didn't you?
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, very good. Then let me get the two of you and everyone else who may testify in this status hearing. If you'll raise your right hands to be sworn, please. All right, do you all swear, promise, or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Mom, Dad, department, yes, yes. All right, thank you. Ms. Walker, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. I call Ms. Spiller. And Ms. Spiller, at the beginning of this hearing, or when the hearing was set earlier this week, the department was asking that an item be added to the service plan of the mother. I believe more specifically that she participate in a BIP class. And I believe that had not been discussed with her prior to that. Since that time, has the department been able to visit with the mother and go over the service plan with the amendment and or with her attorney?
When I called earlier, I know I talked to Miss Rachel earlier, who said she was going to go over it with her. I did not. I told her if her attorney did not call her about one, then I will go over everything with her.
Okay. And have you received a signed copy of the amended service plan?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Have you filed an unsigned copy with the court of the amended service plan?
Yes, ma'am.
And as to the father, was there any further consideration given to whether or not his service plan needed to be amended?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And what was the result of that? Was his plan amended as well?
Yes, ma'am.
And was that reviewed with him or him and his attorney or his attorney?
Yes, ma'am. He did inform me that he talked to his attorney and they went through all of his services, including the one to be added.
Okay. And have you received a signed service plan, amended service plan from the father?
No, ma'am.
Okay. have you filed an unsigned copy of the amended service plan?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And what did he, just to clarify, what amendment was there to his service plan?
To add a BIP assessment as well.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Ms. Leal Hudson.
I have no questions.
All right, thank you, Ms. Hollier.
Ms. Spiller, the added plan, because I thought it was asked a little bit different for Ms. Walker than what the amended family planning services to do a BIP assessment and follow the recommendations.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's what I thought. I have no further questions.
All right, thank you, Ms. McPherson.
I don't have any questions of that. I just wanted to make sure, as far as the placement with the paternal aunt, I just wanted to make sure that we had a plan for when she goes on a vacation. Is that correct?
We do not have a plan as of yet. She came back late Tuesday, and we briefly talked, and I did inform her that we need to come up with a plan in the future for when she does go on vacation. So one of the things she did say was she would have to, she will take Carter with her.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I just wanted to make sure that was addressed.
No, sir, I don't have anything planned at the moment. Not before April, I don't.
Okay, all right, thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Okay, and were you sworn in, Ms. Nichols?
Yes, sir, I was on.
Thank you very much, thank you. All right, any other questions of Ms. Spiller, Ms. McPherson?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Any other questions or witnesses, Ms. Walker?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Ms. Leal Hudson, you may call your first, if any.
I'd like to call Miss Postawhite.
All right.
Yes, ma'am.
Please state your name.
Lacey Postaway.
Okay, and you are the mother of this child in this case, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you and I have had an opportunity to go over the family plan of service, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you were in court yesterday when the agency announced the things that they were requesting, including the additional thing. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And is it your position that you are not in an abusive relationship, but you are willing to take a BIP assessment so that you can put any concerns to rest?
Yes, ma'am, that is correct.
Okay. Are you asking that in the future, if anybody in the department has any questions that are sensitive in nature, that they not do so in the lobby of the CPS office while other people are present?
Yes, ma'am.
In addition, your child is placed with his aunt who lives in a suburb.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And you travel about 2+ hours to go and visit with your child. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And the relative who's taking care of your son supervises those visits. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And at this time, how much time are you allowed to visit with your son supervised by this person?
Just 1 hour.
And is it once a week?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you asking that you be allowed to visit with your son for no less than 2 hours when you make a 4-hour round trip visit to go and see your son every week?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you agree that those will be supervised and you're not asking to break any rules, you're just asking that the length of time that you have be extended so that, especially considering how much time y'all spend in the vehicle.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now you understand that the agency is going to be asking you to take what's called random drug test, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And you've already received a phone call asking you to take a random drug test, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
I understand that it's the agency's policy that when they call you to take this drug test that you have in this particular region, in this county, gives you 4 hours to go and take a test, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that if you say, I can't do it today, like I'm at work, I'm on a shift, in the next 4 hours, I can't do it, that they will call you one other time in the course of that month to go and do it? Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and that if you don't do it, even if your results would be negative, they'll consider it positive no matter what those results are. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you understand that they're asking that you do a type of assessment regarding your mental health,
Yes, ma'am.
and that mental health assessment may have some recommendations for you, and that you're agreeing to follow those recommendations.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that they are also asking that you have what's called an ADAC assessment, but they're going to assess you for potential alcohol and drug abuse? Do you understand that?
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
and after you do those assessments, there may be some recommendation regarding that assessment, and you have to follow those recommendations. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, yesterday it was said that you don't have a driver's license, but do you have a driver's license?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Is your driver's license valid and current?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there anything that anything imposed on you by the government that doesn't allow you to drive?
No, ma'am.
And so you drive, and you and Mr. Jones have access to a vehicle, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you drive, and you drive within the legal limits of the law, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you were working at a gas station up until last week, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And now you and Mr. Jones are self-employed, and you pick up scrap metal, organize homes, and do yard cleanup for people. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. That's what me and him do together.
Renovate.
Basically renovate.
Okay, all right. And you've been able to receive some income in the past week just doing those type work?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then are you still living in the home with Mr. Jones' mother?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and have you moved out of that home since the the show cause or the adversarial hearing?
No, ma'am.
Okay, and so that still remains your residence at this time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and so you understand that the agency is going to ask that you have a valid driver's license or have a transportation plan. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
That you have steady employment, and you can be self-employed, but that you be able to provide for yourself and for your child, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And that you be able to show that you have stable housing.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you're saying that of those things that CPS is asking you to do, that you've already achieved some of those things and will continue to comply with that. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, Ms. Posta-White, do you understand of the things that CPS is asking you to do, that if you do not complete these family plans of service, they could ask that the court terminate your parental rights or severely limit your parental rights? Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, but you want the opportunity to do the things that CPS is asking you to do so that you can demonstrate that you can provide a safe and stable home for your son to come back and live with you.
Yes, ma'am. That is correct.
All right, and you also understand they're going to ask you to do parenting classes, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, and we talked about this, some of the things that they're going to ask you to do, it just does not exist in Woodville or Jasper. And they may be asking you to go to Lufkin or Livingston. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Even though you have a vehicle and even though you have a valid driver's license, if you feel like somewhere they're asking you to go is too far or you cannot afford the gas to go, you need to communicate that to your caseworker, and so she can see if the department can arrange transportation for you. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And so we're not going to let gas or the price of gas or transportation be a barrier to doing our services. Would you agree?
Yes, ma'am, I agree.
And if you communicate that to Ms. Spiller in a timely manner, she wants to work with you to make sure that you don't have those barriers and to help you. Okay.
All righty.
All right. Is there anything about the service plan that you don't understand?
No, ma'am. I understand it fully.
You understand that this court is likely going to order it as if this is an order of the court. And so to not do so is not just to not do something on a piece of paper, but it would be like disobeying an order of the court. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. That's all the questions that I have, Judge.
All right, thank you. Any questions from anyone for Ms. Postlethwaite?
I just have one, Your Honor.
All right.
Ms. Postlethwaite, do you understand that for these evaluations, the ADAC, your BIP, and everything else, that you have to be 100% open and honest with them?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. I'll pass you as a witness.
All right, thank you. Again, any questions from anyone for Ms. Postlethwaite?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. And Ms. Spiller, if I can get you to unmute and just restate the goals for today's hearing, please.
Yes, sir. It's primary goal is family reunification with a concurrent goal of relative adoption.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, any other witnesses, Ms. Leal Hudson?
No other witnesses, Judge.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Hollier, you may call your first, if any.
Thank you. Reginald Jones.
All right, Mr. Jones, there we go.
Mr. Jones, were you and I able to have a conversation this morning about your family plan of service, including the added task of a BIP assessment?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Did we go through, well, did you get a copy? Did you get a copy emailed to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. And so you know how we talked about being provided the phone numbers to the providers you got to contact. Note that they're on there. And if you have any questions, you can call me or talk to Ms. Spiller, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Were we able to go through the family plan so that you understand each and every task that they're asking you to do in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And do you feel like you understand why you need to do these services and you need to demonstrate lifestyle change after?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And we talked about the BIP assessment. You are not claiming domestic violence in this relationship. Is that right?
That's right.
You deny that?
Yes, ma'am.
But you are willing to be open and honest and sit down with family services to have a BIP assessment done.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You're willing to do all this for your little boy?
Yes, ma'am. 100%.
All right. You have my number. You know you can get in touch with me if you need anything. I'll pass the witness.
Just that same question, Mr. Jones. On all of these assessments, are you agreeing to be open and honest with the evaluation? Your ADAC,
Yes,
your BIP, and everything else?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you. I'll pass the witness.
All right. And so, Mr. Jones and Ms. Postlethwaite, that is KJ's attorney.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. I just wanted to make sure you all knew who that was. Okay, any other questions of Mr. Jones today? Okay, thank you. Any other witnesses, Ms. Hollier?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. Any witnesses, Ms. McPherson, in a dual role?
I know that I can't see who's out on, but I understand that the current caregiver is on. Miss Erica?
She is. I believe it's Erica Nichols. And she told me earlier that she was sworn in. So did you want to call her briefly?
Just briefly, Your Honor.
Okay, very, very good. Ms. Nichols, is it, if I can get you to unmute again? Thank you, ma'am. You may proceed.
Yes, Miss Nichols. I'm the attorney ad litem and guardian ad litem, of course, for Carter Jones.
Nicholas.
Nicholas. Sorry about that.
No, that was my fault. I started the Nichols thing because
It's okay.
I wrote it in my notes wrong from last time.
Everybody does.
Well, and I thought I had the note, so I thought I was wrong. But Miss Erica, you heard, some of the questions about extending, the parent-child visit at your, under your supervision. Are you able to supervise a 2-hour visit once a week?
Yes.
Okay, because I think that travel time and for them to be able to bond, I was going to make sure that you were okay with that before I made my recommendations. Is there anything else that Carter needs or anything else?
No, ma'am, he's doing fine.
Okay, thank you. I'll pass you as a witness.
All right. And I'm assuming the parents are visiting together at the same time?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. All right. Any questions, Ms. Walker or Ms. Lee Hudson or Ms. Hollier?
I have no questions.
Okay.
No questions.
All right. Thank you all. Thank you, ma'am, for all that you're doing. Okay. Any other witnesses, Ms. McPherson?
I'm in the dual role.
Mm-hmm.
And I am in agreement with the department remaining the temporary managing conservator. I'm in agreement with the placement. I'm also asking the court that since the caregiver is willing to go to 2 hours a week, I think that would be in the best interest of this child for having that extended visit, as long as it's safe and appropriate, and you know the whole guidelines of the no concerning drug test. And that's it, Your Honor. And to make the service plans in order of the court with the added assessment.
All right. Thank you, Ms. McPherson. All right. And so I mentioned earlier, Mom and Dad, that Ms. McPherson is the attorney for KJ, but she's also, given his young age, she's also the guardian ad litem. So she's looking after both his legal best interest and his overall best interest. And so the court will lean on her recommendation from time to time, from hearing to hearing, actually. So she's kind of his attorney plus. Okay. All right. So anything else from anyone else? The court does hereby find that the parents' family plans of service are narrowly tailored to address the issues of this case, since the additions are mere assessments at this point. So having found that they're narrowly tailored to suit and to fit this case to address the concerns that brought us all together, the court hereby makes both of your plans orders of the court, incorporates them therein. Now, I appreciate you all, your cooperation, Mom and Dad. It bodes very well for this case. And let me just remind you that you have the goal of family reunification. So you're starting out with a good goal and a good opportunity. And you just simply need to work these services, demonstrate that you've learned what you need to learn, change where you need to change, and that permanently, so that you can show everyone involved that you are willing and able to provide a safe environment for your child. So let's do that. Y'all are getting a great start. So let's do that as soon as we can. Hopefully, you know, if you do that, then I expect we'll be able to talk about, you know, return probably on a monitored basis sometime in the spring, late spring or summer. Okay, sooner rather than later. Let's don't mess around and take a year to do this, if at all. Okay. So I appreciate y'all's cooperation and your attitude and commitment to start. Now, the law requires me to tell you a couple of other things, one of which you've already been told or heard the attorneys mention, and it's this. Since I have made your family plans of service orders of the court, if you don't comply with those, if you don't do the services, if you don't demonstrate the changes, the department might use that in the future as a ground to seek the termination of your parental rights. Now, I know that you certainly do not want that, but I need you to understand that if at the end of the case, you're not willing and able to provide a safe environment for KJ, your parental rights may be further restricted or even terminated permanently. I think you both understand that, and it seems clear to me neither one of you wants that to happen at all. So at this point, it's as simple as don't let it, okay? Don't let it. All right, so keep up the good work. The court does find that it's in the best interest of the child to expand, double the visit time for you all to from 1 hour to 2 hours a week, okay? We'll start from there. 1 hour, 2 hours a week, supervised by, is that your aunt or your sister, Mr. Jones? All right, well, you know whom I'm
It's
talking
his sister.
about. Okay, very good. Well,
On mute.
our thanks to her. Okay, so I will sign an orders to that effect. Our dismissal date is December the 4th, 2023. Our next hearing is an initial permanency, April the 26th, 9 a.m. So mom and dad, stay in close contact with your caseworker and your respective attorneys, okay? And when we get together again on April the 26th at 9 in the morning, I expect to hear and see a lot of great things, okay? All right, so in the meantime, you all take care, and you are excused.